Hello everyone, my name is TempestP, and I'm currently second on the leaderboard of this map, which is called 50 Hole in One by BALBONI or BALBONI. I'm sorry, BALBONI, for not knowing the pronunciation of your nickname. So as I said, it's been a long time I wanted to do this video, just to share my setups, the way I do my runs, etc. Because I was just wandering on YouTube, and I was a pity because I didn't see any clean runs or anything like that. So here I am making my try. So here we go. So the map consists in 50 holes, which can be done all in a hole in one, which is quite difficult because they are simple holes, difficult holes, like of course like any other courses. But I shall try to explain as best as I can all my setups. So the first hole you can see here is actually quite simple. The first thing you want to do is press F, because then you're right in the middle and you have a marker, so that's nice. And so what you want to do is don't follow the line, because otherwise this happens. What you want to do is just go a little bit on the right, and you can go in. You have a little barrier that will prevent you from falling, so don't worry about that. This one is actually one of the trickiest, I think, and it's not the easiest to begin with. So what you have to do is like climb this little hill to get into the hole. So what I usually do is try to aim at the middle of the hill, a little bit of the left, and just a little putt. You can always try to bounce, which I'm not a fan, because as you can see, you can go over the wood. But that is always a thing you could do. But as I said, just aim for the middle with a little bit much more force. But see, you have to roll down the hill to catch the hole, which is not easy. There we are. But when you have a proper setup and when you have muscle memory, a thing I wanted to explain is it's really difficult to be consistent at Goal Fit, because, well, it's motion gaming, so it's literally really difficult to do the same play you did just a second ago, because like you have the distance of your putter, you have the velocity. So if I put my putter here and I go really slow, this happens. If I put my putter on the same distance with more force, this happens. So it's actually difficult to be consistent, and muscle memory is a really good tool to help you, because, and your instinct. If you think that you can do it just by doing that, then it's probably good. So yeah, just always trust yourself. Never think too much about a hole. Never think, oh, if I put my putter here and this, with this speed, it usually never works. At least for me, that's my setups. I'm sure people have their setups too, but this hole is quite straightforward. Just it's a dosage hole. You literally have to dose what force you put in your putt, and that's it. Not really difficult. This one is actually easy too. You aim for this wood mark here with a bit of force, and you're in. Not really difficult. The first holes are not the most difficult. Okay, so this one is actually just a little bit more trickier. So you have here these two holes, so you can choose whatever hole you want, and you have a lot of different techniques. You can actually roll down. You can go up with a bit more force. It depends on what you want, really. I don't have a setup. What I could say is try to aim for the fourth square, so the white square and the upper left corner. That usually works for me, but I usually go with my instincts on here. This one is not easy too. It's always a matter of dosage. Dosage? I have no idea. So as you can see, this can happen. So it's really difficult to have a hole-in-one. You have a hidden hole here, but it's much more difficult to get. So I always try to get this hole. But as you can see, finding the perfect play is not the easiest thing. So don't worry if you have to do it in 2. The world record is actually at 68, so you are allowed to do some holes in 2. And if you're not aiming for the record, just do whatever you want. And just don't stress, don't panic, don't tilt, and it's gonna be okay. This one is actually can be really, really frustrating because you have 2 methods of doing it. Either you try a heli hoop in basketball, I think it's called like that, to aim for the ramp here, the slope. I've no idea how to say it in English, but let's call it the ramp. That will be my vocabulary for today. You just aim for that and then you get into the hole, or you aim for the bounce on the glass here, and as I will show you. The hardest thing is to keep being straight. Not a pun intended or anything like that. Just trying to be straightforward is actually the hardest part, because as the hole is a bit long and you have a lot of distance to cover, just a slight wrong angle can fuck you up. As you can see, this quite differ because, like, you could say I'm straight here, but I'm not. So always try to be parallel to this line. And usually, yeah, and this happens too. Sometimes you want to do it with a bit of force, but never too much, because you want to do the heli hoop, and then you end up in between. So you have to decide before going for the hole which method you want to try. And this one is actually, when you have the setup, every hole is easy, and this one including. So this one is actually pretty easy because it is really permissive. As you can see, oh, I think yeah, so this can happen, but don't worry about it. Never go too much. Okay, this one is good. And that's it. Not really difficult, really straightforward. So this one, same thing. You just wait for the pattern to be in the right position, and you don't put too much force, because anyway the ramp here is gonna take you to the hole no matter what. So don't worry about putting too much force. You just have to pass this squares here. So as you can see, here we go. I didn't put much force and I'm going straight to the hole without any problem. There we are. Wonderful. Okay, so this one is actually pretty easy when you have a setup. It used to be just the ground here. Well, the surface here was actually plain. Like there was no down thingy here, like a cone shape, something just to an entonnoir. So what you want to aim at is actually what your reference or your marker is that white square diagonal. You aim a little bit for the left, and that's too much, I think. Yeah. And you try to aim for the hole. That's too less. Let's try again. That could be nice. Yeah. And then with the the hole is actually pretty easy when you have that. This one is actually really special because it changed. It used to be much more difficult, I think. Not according to my friend who's training with me. He was used to the old setup and now he doesn't know how to do it anymore. So what you have to do is actually I always try to do a little puck like thing, like that. So as you can see here, but always straightforward, not really difficult. When you have the muscle memory, it's actually quite easy. You can do it in two. I usually don't mind in my run because you can't. It's actually really hard to get it consistently. So don't mind if you have it more than a hole in one. The world records is actually really permissive. So this is one, well, in my humble opinion, this is one of the most RNG based hole in the map. There are actually one or two, and this one is definitely a part of it. So as you can see, you have to aim for this red rectangle, and you have to use this platform to uplift yourself. And as you can see, sometimes you can have unlucky bounces. Okay, I'm really lucky today, but I'll show you, like, it always depends, because you can see the bounces are not really regular, but I'm quite lucky today. I was trying to record the video yesterday, and I totally I totally messed this hole by trying to show everything, but today I'm really lucky. This one is actually really easy, as it's called simple geometry. It's because the mapper knows actually what he's doing, and you just have to aim straight up. You just aim for the hole. I did it much more with more speed than it could. My friend has another setup. You use for, like, you try to aim as left as possible, and as you can see, you can aim for the hole. He finds it more easier. It's up to you, really. It's up to your preferences. Okay, this one is actually one of the easiest all. You have a lot of different methods to achieve it. My method is usually this one, so I wait for the setup to be here and to have a hole here, so let's wait, and then full force. Straightforward, really easy. This one is actually can be really dismissive because you have a lot of different ways to achieve what you want. For example, you can always try here, you can try to bounce off here, but for me the easiest is aiming right here, and there we are. Nothing too difficult. Here you have also well, actually 3 methods of doing it. You have a hidden hole here, which is really difficult to aim. So I do not. Oh, lucky me. So I do not advise to go for it. You can aim for the ramp, but it's actually, I think, more difficult than just the bounce here. And then the ramp just leads you to the hole. This one is actually one of the hardest for me, because one of the hardest thing is you have to be straight, and you have to do this alley hop, like, and end up in the hole. So let's try. Oh, this is actually not a bad hole. I usually do it in 2. The hole in one is actually really hard to do on this one. But as you can see, you can always get really weird bounces. Well, not weird bounces, but trolling bouncing. Anyway, this one is actually pretty easy. As you can see, you have to aim for the wood thingy here to do a bounce and end up here. As you can see, what I do is try to be as straight as I can and just 1 or 2 degree on your left or on your right. That's not enough, of course. And that's usually what happens. Okay, that's what I wanted to demonstrate here. Is sometimes it can be a bit random because you get bounces of this area, and that's what happened here. That's what is going to happen here. No, okay. So you have to be lucky, or either you have to have a perfect setup, which is a bit hard, but it's not a difficult hole, as we can say. This one is actually pretty easy too. You just wait for the platforms here to be aiming upwards like this, and you go for it. You have a hidden hole here, but I think it's much more consistent to go for this. Then the ramp leads you to the hole, as always. Nothing too difficult. Next one. This one used to give me nightmares, and when I say nightmares, I sometimes, to not bother about this hole, I used to do it like full random. I go here and I pray the gods, and usually, well, the gods are in my favor today. So what I do is I aim for this this upper left corner here, like the here, exactly here. I aim here, and a little bit to the right. It depends on what you ate for breakfast, if you slept well. It depends. So I usually aim up here. Nope. Oh, I think it would have been good. But anyway, I aim up here. No, that's not good. Hop. And there we are. But don't bother if you miss it. Just try not to tilt and do it without thinking, without bothering. This one is actually pretty easy too. You wait for the setup and you go straight for the hole. This one can be a little bit tricky for new players because you don't know what you have to do, or just you don't know what the force you have to put in. You have this glass thingy that can be a pain. What I do is I aim for the first white square. Oh, that's way too much. And there we are. This one you have actually two methods. You have a hidden hole here, and you have this hole here, of course. So I'll try to show you this one. Yeah, this one. And then this one. Oh, pretty lucky today. But again, it's a memory muscle hole. This one is actually the same hole as the one before in Clever Map. But I would not advise you to go for this hole, and preferably go for this, because I will try to show you why. Okay, I'm really lucky, but as you can see, I'm lucky. Okay, I'm going for this hole, but it's not what I want to show. Nope. Okay, believe in me, I can do it. Don't lose faith. No. Okay, so what? Oh, that's a weird bounce. No. But what I wanted to show you is that sometimes you can bounce of just the tip of the platform. You bounce on the wood and then you bounce back, which is a total pain. But I want to show you. But anyway, unfortunately, I was not able to show you. This one is one of the easiest. Oh, you wait for this thing, this rotary platform to be vertical, and you aim full force. You don't even bother. This one is actually one of my favorite holes. My setup is you aim for the middle of the black square. Just no, that's too less. That's too much, I think. Oh, maybe not. Oh no, okay. And then you are. Nothing too complicated when you have the proper setup. This one is actually really easy too. Straightforward. Oh, what happened? As I said, oh come on! I'm not really concentrated as I talk by playing, but as you can see. This one is actually really easy too. Just try to be as straight as possible. And again, muscle memory. This one is actually one of the funniest. So as you can see, you can use A and D to steer the ball. So as you can see, I can like maneuver the ball. You have a lot of different paths you can use. I'm gonna show you like that's the path I usually use because I think it's it's the most comfortable for me. But I know my friend use another path, but well, it's just up to you which you think the more consistent. Whoa. And there you are. Nothing too difficult about it. Then we have this hole. I think you have a hidden hole here. Sorry for that. So you have you don't have a hidden hole here, so you just have to aim straight. Okay, there we are. Again, when you have the muscle memory, it's not really difficult. Okay, this one was actually really hard for me, and there's a bit of RNG, sorry. Well, it's a bit random because of the water and the bounces. So let's show you what I do as a setup. I usually aim for here, like the end of the first platform. I don't know if it's gonna be good. Okay. What happens here, if you end up at the end of the water pool, is that you have a gravity field that would take you to... let me just... Okay, let's do that. You have a gravity field that helps you to go back to the platform. But as a hole-in-one is actually not really easy. Okay, that's too much, I think. Oh no, that's perfect. Wonderful. But it's totally doable. This one is actually pretty easy too. You just aim for that. Don't try it with too much speed. Try to always accompany the ball, not do like a type of putt. You actually have to accompany the ball, and I think it's much more simpler. This one is actually pretty easy too. You just want to bounce off the second platform to decrease your speed, because otherwise it's too much. And as you can see, quite easy. This one is actually pretty easy too. You aim for the cannon. You just aim at the right position and you wait for the setup. You usually wait. You try to anticipate the thing, and here you are. This one is always, you have to be patient. Always aim for the right setup. So, just aim for the platform to be a little bit tilted, but not too much. And there you are. Nothing too complicated. This one was actually really simple, because no matter what I did, I aim for the diagonal, and it would always work. Well, apparently this works too, but I don't know. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If you have another setup, I will be glad to hear. But anyway, this one you just have to aim a little bit like here. Oh, what a shame. Oh, and there we are. Again, nothing too complicated. Muscle memory. This one is really easy. You just wait for the pyramid to be perpendicular, perpendicular, and you go full force. This one you have actually like different methods. For me, like you can try to bounce here. You can actually go for that, which I don't think it's the best. For me, you try to aim at the glass for the bounce, and then you do a bounce on the rotary platform, as I will try to show you. Oh, wonderful. There you are. Was a bit lucky, but you get the idea. Where are we? Ah, hole 40, my favorite. No, it isn't. This one is actually really hard to get it consistent. Well, to get consistently at least. What I do is I aim for this corner here, the upper left corner of the black square, with a little bit of force, and you try and you pray the gods, and the gods are actually merciful with me. Here it's actually really easy when you aim at the black wood here, because you can do whatever you want. Oh, that's not really lucky. As I can say, you can do kind of whatever you want. There you are. Nothing too complicated too. When you aim at the wood, it's not really difficult. This one is actually really easy too. You just aim for the middle. Oh, that's too much, I think. Oh no, perhaps not. Yes, it's good. Wonderful. This one, my setup used to be aim for the upper left corner of the black square, but now I do it with the white square. And then you bounce, and you're in. Nothing too complicated, again. And tell me in the comment section how much I said not too much complicated. I tend to repeat myself. Okay, so this one is actually one of the most interesting holes, because you have to bounce off one of the ball here to end up in here. And don't worry about the bounce, you have a gravity field that will lead you toward the hole. So what I usually do is this. As you can see, the hole will go, the ball will go in the hole, so don't worry about it. Here you have two methods. You have this method, like going in here, which I will try to show you, like this. Or I think the most consistent way is this. You try to aim for the middle of the cube. You wait for the cube with a little bit more speed. Come on, you can do it. And there you are. This one you have two methods here too. Either you go straight forward into the hole with less speed, because otherwise this one is actually well, it can be a bit tricky. Don't worry about doing it at two. And you have actually a hidden hole here, so you can do something like that. Oh, I'm not really lucky. And there we are. It's up to you, up your preferences, what you want to do, what you're most comfortable with. This one is actually one of the coolest, I think. What I do is I usually aim for this part, just a little pot, and then you just hands free, and it just leads you to the hole without doing anything. how magical it is. I know. So this one, what I usually do is I aim for the end of the platform at the beginning of, I guess of course the camera is at 90 degrees, so it's actually hard to show you, but the end of the platform and the beginning of the water, you aim here, and you go into the hole. And there we are at the, as I call them, the run killers, because these holes used to kill so many runs of mine, because either I was too stressed and I thought too much about what I wanted to do, or because it's actually hard to get consistently because of the water. You have actually two methods. Either you try to aim for the bong, or either you have a hidden hole here, which you can always try to aim for, as you can see. Up to your preferences again. And this one is actually the same hole as the last, but this one is actually really hard to get if you try for the normal method. I never go this way because, surprise, surprise, there is a hidden hole. So what I do is I aim for the this upper left corner of the white square, to go a little bit on the left and go full force. And there we are. And that's the map. And that's the map. Wonderful. So thank you for watching. If you have any question, I will be glad to answer them. So don't be shy of asking any question about the holes or one of my setups or etc. I could do further video to explain much more in details if you want. Oh, Samura. But as I said, that's one of my, I think it's one of the best map in Golfit ever created. I spent a bit of hours on it. I think 40 or 50 hours on this map. And that's the map that gives me the most pleasure out of every map, because the map is actually pretty good. So don't hesitate to shout out BALBONI. I have no idea how to say it, but let's go with BALBONI. So go to the workshop, download the map, because it's actually a really good map, even with friends, when you want to try hard, when you go for a record on the leaderboard or just for fun. It's actually a really good map. Thank you for watching, and see you soon maybe.